In this video, I will show you how to create your first data model in ERD Architect. We will create two entities, few attributes and a relationship between them. We will also generate corresponding DDL script. Let's begin with a new model. Specify an appropriate target database. Here I've selected SQL Server 2017. OK. Now we have a blank model. Let's see, how can we create our first entity? Go to the ribbon menu, find the entity, click, and then drop it on the diagram. Let's name this entity as Department. Now we will add a primary key attribute. To add a primary key attribute, we can double-click in the primary key box. Let's name this attribute as Department ID. Let me quickly add another attribute. Since I have clicked in the box below, the second attribute is created non-primary. Let me add one more entity. We will name this as Employee. To create attributes in an entity, we can also use the keyboard shortcut. We can press the keys Ctrl and T to add an attribute into the currently selected entity. Let me press Ctrl T and add an attribute. The first attribute will assume the primary key box, and the successive attributes created using shortcut key will assume non-primary key box. We can always right-click on an attribute and choose it to be primary key or non-primary key. Let's assume these business rules. Each department can have many employees, and each employee belongs to a department. That's a typical case of one-to-many relationship from department to employee. Let's go ahead and create a one-to-many relationship. To create the relationship, we have to click on the parent entity first and the child entity second. Take a look at the employee entity. We have Department ID attribute automatically created as a result of this relationship. In other words, the foreign key attribute Department ID of employee entity implements this relationship in our database. To edit the data types of attributes, you can move the cursor over the data type and click when the line turns into selected. We can also choose a data type from the drop-down. Now we have a model with two entities, few attributes, and a relationship. Let's now generate the DDL script from this model. Go ahead and select all objects. Right-click to have the context menu appear. Select View SQL option. Alternately, we can generate the DDL by pressing the keyboard shortcut Ctrl-Q. Let me press Ctrl-Q. Here we have all the DDL statements. Department table. Here we have the definition of department table. Department ID, the primary key. We have the definition here. See the employee table. We have the table definition here. The primary key. We have the definition here. Finally, the relationship. We have the foreign key definition here. I hope this video will help you get started with ERD Architect Data Modeler. Thank you.